Welcome to the Prog Talks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Prog Talks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to another episode of the Prog Talks. This is episode 2 after the summer break in season 2. So I think we're at episode 26 of season 2 altogether. And before we jump into today's topic and welcome today's guests, as always, don't forget to get us a cup of coffee or also get yourself a coffee cup in our merch store. It helps us out a lot. We appreciate your support. And now, kind of welcoming back, as we talked already on the Progcast back in April 2020, we have Mikkel and Christian from Danish prog metal band or prog band Feather Mountain. Hey guys!
What's up? Hey, what's up? Nice to be back.
Yeah. Nice to be back. I kind of stopped myself there as I think you also not only got the metal going but also other stuff like more rocky, less metal. But you guys are back with the second album called Exit A Maelstrom, which was released last week, September 2nd. Yes. It's your sophomore album, and I think it's in many regards a big step up from the already quite promising Nidus from 2019. And I mean, it's been a weird time between the release of Nidus and now, for all of us and especially for bands. And but I think you guys were just using that time to compose. How was the composing and recording process for To Exit A Maelstrom compared to Nidus?
Should I start? Should I? You go.
Okay.
You go first.
I think it was very different because, obviously there was the lockdown and Corona. So we spent a lot of time writing songs instead of going out and playing shows and rehearsing for the shows. So it we really missed the audience, but it helped us to get into this mode where we just started writing a lot of songs. And I think that's, the first part of it. The second part is that To Exit A Maelstrom is a much more personal album to us compared to Nidus. Nidus was kind of a mixed bag of songs, if you can put it that way. Jens, our guitar player, he hadn't been a part of the process for all of the songs with Nidus, but this time for To Exit A Maelstrom, he's been there all the way. And we just we had so much more storytelling this time than we had with Nidus. So I think it feels very different this time compared to the first one.
Sure, and we just had much more to say, and we were more prepared. Also, studio-wise, we were more experienced going through with the Nidus, and perhaps also more comfortable in the studio, experimenting and just all aspects level up for sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying you had more to tell. I'm from listening to the album and also knowing a little bit about the background story. I would say that is true for both parts, the musical part and the lyrical part, of course. Starting with the music, traditionally, what was as you just said, was maybe also Jens, the guitar player, was more involved. Did you write together or separately, and then put the stuff together? And how was the working process in the compositional stages?
It often starts out with our bass player Andreas, that he makes a draft, often just the bass line, and then the rest of the band we take over from there, and I think the key to our songwriting is that we're very critical to each other's ideas, and we try to be as honest as we can to each other whenever someone puts out an idea. We want to make sure that everyone's on board. But it often starts with Andreas, and then it's a back and forth thing between the entire band. And usually the melody and the lyrics, they are the last part of the song.
So before you went into the studio, and you just said you were better prepared than for the first album, Mikkel. Before you went into the studio, did you have a chance to play the songs as a complete band in the rehearsal room?
Yeah, sure. We'll do demos just for our sake and Johan's sake, our producer. But I think just in the preparedness is just that when we got in the studio for Nidus, I think we realized that in the sonic, in the soundscape, we were being tested a lot on things we didn't expect we probably should have had, and that got fixed or done in the studio. So I think we had a better idea of how to make the sound more as we hear it in our head, how to get that across in the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Overall, I had the feeling listening to Exit A Maelstrom, I had the feeling that it is like overall it's giving me like a more not extreme but heavier feeling. I have the feeling there's more heavier parts, more also shouting vocals, or I don't want to call them growls, but they're not really shouting either, but they're not your usual clean singing either. Would you agree to that? And how did this slight change or more emphasis or just like more accumulated heaviness come about? Was it due to the topic at hand?
I think partly the topic, but also just we knew we wanted to do more in both ends. We wanted to go to each side of the spectrum more than we did on Nidus. More growls, more screams, more heaviness, more grit, but also more the airiness, the light, and the cleans, and just mix them. Do it both. We wanted all of it for sure.
Yeah, we knew that to begin with, that we wanted to explore the boundaries, and then when we figured out that we had to make this album about my father's Alzheimer's disease, then it just made sense to bring in some of the tools from metal music. I was interviewed 2 days ago, and I said to the radio host that I'm glad that I don't play Bossa Nova or cafe jazz, because I think it would be really hard for me to justify or to the vision I have to really make it happen if I didn't have the blast beats or the growls and the screaming and all of that.
All of these elements. Yeah, we're gonna dive into the topic of Alzheimer's maybe in a second. But before, like, let's stay for a second more in the music realm, because there's like the second to last song is a purely instrumental song, right? Air Hunger.
Yeah.
And so how did this song came about?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
That's a good question. I think we wanted to make something chaotic and without lyrics, because it's hard to explain. But again, I felt that with this theme, with Alzheimer's, with my father slowly losing the ability to speak, then it kind of made sense to have a song without lyrics and just screaming in the background, and lots of chaos in the instrumental parts.
Yeah, and then there's the more or less title track Maelstrom at the end, which is again almost 10 minutes long, and it's kind of obvious that we had the balance act on Nidus with closing in on 12 minutes. Also the long track on the end. What is it with prog bands and long songs at the end of albums?
Actually, I don't know. I do know. I remember distinctly when we started out. It was like, we have to have a long track if we're going to call ourselves prog, you know. And then I think on this album, Exit A Maelstrom, it was actually a long track that Jens plays guitar. He had, I think, 80% of the pieces he had already written on guitar and had a full version. And then we pieced it together, all of us. And then I had this amazing canvas of highs and lows where I could just write and play with melody and choir, and that song just grew and grew. We were in the studio and we were like, we need horns, we need more choir, more people. Yeah. And we invited our community, our fans, to come and sing. We got a bunch of people. I mean, I think 8 or 10 people aside from us, all the band, our producers singing on it. And yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was kind of an experiment as well. I mean, yeah, we knew that we wanted to make this big thing, but then it just kept growing while we were in the studio. And also after we were in the studio, our producer, he contacted us and said, guys, it would be so cool if we just brought in more people to this track and kept putting layers and layers of vocals on top of each other. And yeah, so it just kept going for a long time. It was really fun process with that song, actually. Yeah.
Wonderful. But of course, not of course, because some prog bands do it, but you didn't choose Maelstrom as a single. The first single was Sincere, and we were really happy to premiere the really cool video here at the Progspace.
Yeah. Likewise.
And it was again together with the crew. You were also already working together for the lead single for Nidus, which was In Passing, which you also played on the Progspace online festival.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, the video was, I thought it was so cool and mysterious and totally different to the In Passing video, with those weird figures. Are they still around in someone's garage?
Yeah. We don't have them, but I think Line, one of the women that helped us with the video, I think she has them at the moment. Yeah, they are so intimidating. They're so huge, those masks or costumes or what do you want to call them. I'm the one in the bird costume, and I remember when I saw it the first time, it was so big, and I just shouted, "Tips! I want that one."
Heavy.
I want the big heavy.
Full depth shooting.
Yeah, it was so heavy.
Holding this,
enormous costume.
So it was you guys inside these costumes.
Yes,
I was in we call them Ego.
Yeah,
with the round face.
The brown face, yeah, and the
the main character is Mikkel, and the red one with the round face, that's Andreas, our bass player,
right.
And then the really tall one is Jens, the guitar player.
Yeah, and he had to stay like this in the suit with the wind blowing him backwards.
Yeah, there were more singles, Pariah without a video, and then August Mantra, the opening track of the album, right? As the final single before the album release, with a standard video, I would say, with some playthrough, like just you guys playing and some live footage. I think it's always a really interesting thing how bands pick their singles out of a full album, especially if it's so dense conceptually.
Yeah.
Right.
So how was that process for you? Did you know from the beginning, or did you have to think or discuss a lot?
I think we had to discuss it a little, but I mean, we also agreed that it couldn't be Maelstrom, the last song, because it was too long. It didn't really make sense. And we didn't think that Maelstrom represented the album as a whole. So we wanted Sincere because it's one of the simpler songs. It's not too long and it has a video, and we think it's a beautiful piece. And we wanted Pariah because it's like the other extreme of the album. I think it's some of the most aggressive things we've ever done. And we wanted August Mantra because it really shows the progginess. And I do a lot of percussion on that song. And I wanted that to, come out as a single because I'm so proud of that song. And I think August Mantra is it shows our style quite well. So it made sense to use that one as well. But I mean, we also wanted Cloudheaded at some point to be one of the singles, but we went away from that because it was, we didn't feel that it quite represented us as well as the other songs, even though we like it a lot as well. So we're very happy that Cloudhead has been, even though it's not a single, it has been received very well by the reviewers. And it's also a song that it lies close to our hearts, and and we love performing with it. So that's nice.
It's also this thing where you're not really sure until you hear like the album mixed. And I think we were so proud of what we did on Sincere that we could actually write a simpler song. It was actually a struggle for us to like tone down the progginess and just go with the feel and the mood and just drive that home. So I think, we wanted to showcase that, and we wanted to showcase, like Christian said, the other end of the spectrum. And I feel like August Mantra is like a classic Feather Mountain song. Exactly. We have some of the old, some of the new, and many changes, many sections. So, yep.
So you were also able to play some of the new stuff live already, right?
Yeah, we had a absolutely kick-ass show on last Friday, 2nd, when we released the album. Sold out the venue, 200 people came, and probably the best show we ever had, honestly. We had an amazing connection with the audience.
Yeah.
Everyone was on fire, so much love, positivity, and we were, it was amazing.
Wonderful. And
towards
the end of the month, or at the very, very beginning of the next month, you were going to be in the Netherlands for ProgPower Europe. Finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you guys were booked for a long time already.
Yeah.
2 years or something.
Yeah. I think I remember being like, already really looking forward to seeing you in 2020, but then obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
And last year, neither.
But actually, we think of course, it's a bummer, but it's a good thing for us because now we're ready for playing outside of Denmark. And I think it's a good thing that we've made this album. So I have this feeling that this concert is going to be so much more spectacular than if we played only the Nidus material 2 years ago. I mean, we've grown so much since then. So, people are in for a treat.
Now you're ready for bigger things.
Yes, we are.
Talking about playing the Maelstrom songs live. I always wonder how it is for a musician who writes about such personal experiences to perform songs that have quite a heavy emotional background live. For example, like I always wonder how Daniel Gilder from Pain of Salvation does it, how he sings those songs every night without, you know, breaking down emotionally.
Sure.
How is it for you? Is it still like tough, or do you just have the adrenaline and positive feelings about the music going forward?
I think it's so tough, and I might start crying in a moment. You're warned now. Last Friday with the release of the album, I think I cried about half the time or something like that while playing. And
I think it's a wonderful thing to have music help cope with these feelings, because it's turning the bad or sad feelings into something very, very beautiful.
It's a sensitive topic, but I think that's maybe explains why it was such a magical experience, because I felt that the audience felt it as well, that people understood the story and the music, and and I felt that I could be myself behind the drums, that I didn't have to pretend that that I don't get affected by it.
I think we really hope that you will be able to play the songs live many times in the future, not only at ProgPower. Really looking forward and hoping it will continue positively with all the events happening in the world. You know, that we'll be able to continue with the live music, and that you guys will be able to have more shows announced soon, and also do these shows and present the really great material to Exit A Maelstrom. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and for being so honest and giving us an insight into the making of To Exit A Maelstrom. All the best with the release going forward, which is already out. You guys out there should really check it out. It's an amazing album. And don't forget to check out the socials of Feather Mountain as well, to keep up to date what they're up to, if there's any new live announcements and so on and so forth. Don't forget to check out our socials as well, and follow us and get us a cup of coffee, or get yourself a nice cup to put your own coffee in.
Do the Lord's work. Help us, man.
That was it for today. Thank you guys out there so much for listening. That was another episode of the Prog Talks. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and keep spreading the prog love.
The Prog Talks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik-Reinås. Produced by Rune Belsvik-Reinås, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munowitz. This was the Prog Talks by the Progspace. See you in a week.